So one of the most popular upgrades our customers take is our bulk chemical kit with feeder filters. So you can see a full kit laid out in front of us here. I shall now run you through the constituent parts of it. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is the stain and scale inhibitor. So if you're in a hard water area, this product's quite important to you because, as you probably will have seen with your kettle, maybe your shower head, things like that, calcium is going to build up on those, and over a period of time it furs up and it can damage in your hot tub, your pumps, your heater. So the scale inhibitor stops that calcium building up. Eventually it gets filtered out. So with this product, there's an initial starting dose required, and then you'll be adding a quantity on a weekly basis. So as your hot tub's heating up, you're very safe to put this into the water. It's a liquid, so just pour it in as per your hot tub volume, and that will look after your spa water. Should you be in a soft water area and you do order the bulk chem kit from us, talk to us early on before we post it out, because we do have an alternative product called Spa Hardness Plus. So if your water is very soft, we can actually send you this out, and that will help you lift your hardness level up. With your water being soft, basically it makes it slightly acid, which in fairness you can adjust out with the pH adjusters. But what you will find is your water will tend to foam a little more. So with the hardness increaser in there, it stops the foaming coming about. Now, depending on which model of hot tub you have, will dictate which filters we're sending out to you. You should find you get 2 in the box. If it's one of our standard series of spas, you'll get 2 of these. And as I said earlier, we'll note on the top which one's got the pod in. If you're running with one of the Be Well models, maybe a Fiji or one of the original series, you'll get 2 of these longer filters, and basically the lids will come out and you can attach the pod into that, which we will have done for you. It will come with some standard filters in the tub. So if it's a twin filter tub, you use one of the standards alongside a feeder filter. If it's a Fiji, which has just got the single filter in, basically put the standard filter aside as a spare, and that might come in use at a later date, but you'll just rotate the 2 feeder units. The other models are Caymans and Dominicans. They're running with a filter like this, which has got a tube down the middle. Now the standard filter doesn't have the little grill that you'll see in the middle of there, but the feeder filters do. So we'll send you 2 of these out, and basically you drop the pod down the inside of the filter and it sits on the grill. So using the feeder filters, inside the filter you'll find that there's a little blue pod suspended. We normally set this on a mid setting for you. So what you'll need to do is carefully unscrew the lid, and then the bromine tablets, which are also in your kit, you load inside it. So as you can see, they'll slide neatly down the inside of it. You would get 5 tablets in there, and we do recommend you fill them to the top with the bromine because it's quite slow dissolving. You then obviously put the pod back together. Please do be careful when you're tightening it back up, because if you over tighten, you can adjust your settings. So just be careful doing that. That filter then is obviously good to go in the spa. If you're running with a pair of twin filters, you would have a standard filter alongside the feeder filter. If you've just got the single filter in there, then you just put the feeder unit in it. Key thing to note, if your spa is on heat up, please don't put the pod in, because you're already going to start the spa with an initial shock dose, and you don't want to overdose it by letting the water bleed over this filter for 12 to 14 hours depending on the heat up time. So put the pod in the following morning when it's up to temperature, and then the spa can run forward using that. So the next thing to talk about is the clarifier. So with the clarifier, there is dosing instructions on the back. We would recommend that you put the initial starting dose into the hot tub as it's heating up. What clarifier does, it helps congeal small particles of dust and dirt together into a slightly bigger blob, and it then allows them to get caught into the filter, so it keeps your water sparkly clean. So there's a starting dose. It is a good practice to add this on a weekly basis to the tub as well, and it will keep your water nice, clean and shiny. So the next product to talk to you about is the no foam inhibitor. So what we tend to find with hot tubs is you can get a little bit of foam build up in there. That will generally come off soap either on your body as bathers or possibly in your swimwear. So if I can give you any top tip now before you jump in the hot tub for the first time, please go and give your swimwear a good rinse under some clean water. Residual soap powder always ends up in if they've been in the washing machine. So give it a good rinse before you get in. And if you do have any friends that come around to use a tub at a later date, try and encourage them to give it a good rinse first. However, if you do end up with your spa foaming, and you'll know what foaming is when it happens because it's like matey bubble bath on the top, a small amount of this, literally a capful, into the water whilst the jets are running will dampen that foam down. Now, unfortunately, it is not a solution forever. Next time you jump in the tub, it will foam up again, and the only way you're actually going to deal with it in its entirety is getting that soap out of the water. But as a short-term fix when you're bathing, no foam is a really good option, but please always do try, don't take soapy stuff into the hot tub with you. Next core product in the bulk chemical kit is the Oxy Shock. So what the shock does, it helps oxidize away bacteria that's tied up with your main sanitizer. So what you'll find is over a period of time, your hot tub will start to get quite a strong smell of either chlorine or bromine. Might smell a little bit like a public swimming pool, and that's not what it should be like. So what the Oxy Shock does, it breaks down that relationship, oxidizes away the bacteria, and frees up the sanitizer to work again. As a general rule of thumb, using this on a fortnightly basis is a good thing. Depending on your spa volume, you're going to be adding between 20 and 30 grams of this into the hot tub. With all powders, you're going to pre-dissolve it in some warm water out the hot tub, add it into the spa. Key thing to note with the shock is you then need to run your pumps with the lid open because that oxidization process needs to be able to breathe off. So we'd recommend add this into the spa water, let the pumps run with the lid open for around 30 minutes. Obviously the pumps will time out to the point through that window. Don't panic about that. So long as it can breathe off, that's good. At the end of approximately an hour of the tub being open, that should be the full oxidization process done. At that stage, I'd then say, give the waterline a good wipe round. I would always run my clarifier in with the shock at the same time because the two work hand in hand together. And then at the end of that hour, give it a good wipe round, and it's usually an opportune time then to swap the filters for a clean set or be giving them a hose off. So when I talk to you a little bit about the filter cleaning. So we've got two types of filter cleaner that we can send you out. Typically it's going to be the soak solution, which will be in the large litre bottle. What we'd recommend is a dilution rate of around 100 ml per 10 litres of water. Now, key thing to note, the smaller the vessel you can get to put your filters in, the less solution you're going to need to mix up, which is obviously going to help this solution last a little bit longer. Sometimes we do send you out the instant filter cleaner, which is the spray. That works slightly differently in that you spray it onto the filters, let it soak in for half an hour, and then you hose it off afterwards. But for the most part, the soak tends to be the best option to go with. So what you'll do is obviously dilute that into some warm water in a bucket or suitable vessel. Soak your filters in it. Ideally, it's an overnight job, so it needs sort of 12 to 24 hours soaking. Once they come out of the solution, what you're going to need to do is get your hose pipe, ideally with an adapter with a jet setting on it, and basically start going up and down the grooves of the filter. Pending how soapy they are, you may need to go around the filter 2, maybe 3 times. What you're looking for is the water coming out of it running clear. If it's still running a little bit soapy, keep going. And then what you want to do is let the filter dry off. That will allow the pores to contract inside the filter, and then it's good to use again. Obviously with the bulk chem kit, you're going to have 2 sets of filters in rotation, so it does mean you've got a set to wash and a set to use. So the next 2 products I want to talk to you about are the flush and the waterline cleaner. Now these 2 tend to go hand in hand because you're going to be using these at the draining point of the hot tub. So with the flush, 2 of the 4 changes of water a year I would use the flush with. There's dosing directions on the bottle, but you're roughly looking at half a bottle for each of the water changes. The way you use it, obviously open the spa up, you're going to add it to your dirty hot tub water. So add that into the water. At the same time as putting the flush solution in, I would recommend around 30 grams of chlorine granules go in as well, obviously pre-dissolved because it's a powder. That will just help boost the sanitizer level, so any of the biofilm buildup that the flush deals with will then get pushed out into the water in the spa. You're going to run your pumps for around 30 minutes. You're then going to let the water sit in the plumbing for a further 30 minutes, just so it can have a good work on anything that's a little bit stubborn inside the plumbing. Agitate again for about 5 minutes, and then you're looking to drain down. So at that point, obviously you're going to turn the tub off, attach your hose pipe to the drain point and start draining it. As the tub's being drained down, that's where the waterline cleaner comes in. This is a heavy duty soap. It's designed to break down the organics that kind of come off us that get stuck to the tub. So use this. I generally use microfiber cloths. I will dampen them. I spray this onto the cloth as opposed to the tub, and then you can work that around the waterline area. This stuff is good all over the tub, so you can use it on the outside cabinet if you wish, on the acrylic, on the inside of the lid, which is an important part that often gets missed when you're doing a water change. It works everywhere. Generally you'll find with the tub itself, the area that's going to need a heavy clean is about 6 to 8 inches below the waterline. That's the bit that tends to muck up the most. Deeper than that isn't too bad. But as you're using this stuff, it is a soap. So best practice to do is once the tub is empty, or if you have benefit of 2 hose pipes, just try to wash that soapiness into the exiting water. And then once the tub is completely empty, give it a wipe round with a couple of clean cloths so it's dry, and then you're good to refill again. The last part of your water change and clean up on the spa will be using the hot tub cleaner and preserver product. So this is an external cleaner for the hot tub, so it's not designed for the internal acrylic, it's designed for outside cabinet and the lid. It's got a UV inhibitor in it, so it helps prolong the life of the lid and the cabinet size and helps them keep their colour. So again, same as you're doing with the waterline cleaner, I would apply this to the cloth and then wipe around with the cloth rather than applying it directly to the cabinet size or the lid, and you tend to get a far more even coating on it. You can get away with doing this your 4 water changes, but obviously if your spa does tend to get a little bit more debris on it, if it's under trees and things like that, you might want to use that a little bit more frequently, but it does help preserve the life of your hot tub lid. So hopefully that was helpful, running you through all the products in the bulk chemical kit with feeder filters. Clearly, if you do have any questions or queries, please contact your supplying branch, who should be able to walk you through any problems. Thanks for watching.